This week on the Analog Circle podcast, the votes are in for the Game Awards and we will discuss the nominees. Sony is in talks about buying the parent company of From Software. Things could get very interesting if they get that deal done. We get a small piece of news about what direction Control 2 will be going in, and we get some very positive feedback about what we can expect from Fable. But all of these stories can be found here and more in episode 233 of the Analog Circle podcast. I am your host, Kiaun Mitchell, and welcome to the show. Welcome. Come on in, sit down, relax, or if you are traveling, hopefully we can accompany you to your destination. Now, with that being said, if you guys want to be a part of the next listener feedback, you can do it two different ways. You can either call in, and the phone number is 443-627-9087 and let your voice literally be heard. Or you can email the show, and the email address is simply the name of the show, the Analog Circle Podcast at gmail.com. Now, guys, without further ado, I believe it is time to get into what we all come here for, and that is the gaming news that went down. So let's go ahead and let's start with some quick news. I got this story from Comic Book. So according to Lunatic Ignis, who has got a few things right. Now, this is an insider. He's got a few things right and a couple of things wrong. But he is saying something, quote, God of War, end of quote, related will be happening at the Game Awards of, either it's going to be at the Game Awards or it may take place at that rumored, possibly, how would you say? Yeah, it's just rumored right now. Either it could be a state of play or it could be a showcase. So this guy, again, his name is Lunatic Ignis, spelled I-G-N-U-S. He's saying be on the lookout for something Kratos related. Now, we do know that, what was it, last year, I believe at the Game Awards, they did release that DLC, and I played that DLC. By the way, it was free at that. And that DLC, I didn't finish it. Can't get on here and act like I finished the whole thing. But from what I played, that thing was tight and right. It was very well done. I played about maybe I don't think I got over 3 hours in it. So I'm going to say I got maybe about close to 2 hours in it. And it didn't even feel like it was free DLC. It felt like this was something that had very good quality to it. Something that you would actually buy. I don't think anybody would have had a problem buying it, but just the fact that they threw it in last year, Sony, that is, PlayStation, just to say thank you to the fans. I thought that was fantastic. So having that track record, could we possibly see something God of War related at the awards? I don't think it's a far-fetched idea, but at the same time, I don't know if they are necessarily working on anything God of War related. Who knows? It might be a movie. Yeah, we've heard that project got restarted. It could go in a couple of different ways. But again, these are rumors. So as always, take it with a mustard seed of truth. And we got quite a few more of those to cover as we go along through the show. But the other story that I wanted to go into is Rolling Stone. I actually got it from Rolling Stone. Now, Phil sat down, and this is something I should have talked about last week, but it slipped my mind. So this isn't really necessarily new news. It's just me updating it here on the podcast. But Phil sat down and explained that they will continue to make more consoles by saying, quote, we'll definitely do more consoles in the future and other devices, end of quote. So to me, that says, okay, that's good. That's good, Phil. Now, Phil, I got to be honest with you, brother. You've had a bit of a shaky track record. Can I trust you, Phil? I don't know, brother. I want to be able to trust you, but there are too many receipts on things that you have said one moment and then things switch around and you're saying something completely different. That seems to be the Xbox way right now. Y'all going 100 different directions every other month. Things change. Things never stay the same. So I want to believe that there will be a console coming out in the next couple of years. And I also want to believe that you guys are really going to fight. But I don't even know if that's going to happen because you're bringing all of your games. There is no red line. There's no red line here to tell you what games are going to stay, what games are going to go. I just don't know, Phil. I don't know, but he's saying they're going to be in it to win it. More consoles. Now, he didn't say they're going to be in it to win it. He just said more consoles are in the future, along with other devices as well. So we've heard him already kind of allude to the handheld. We heard Sarah Bond. She was talking about that something is supposed to be revealed by the end of the year. I mean, Miss Bond, we're in November. Next week is Thanksgiving. Can y'all believe that? Next week is doggone Thanksgiving. It's crazy. By the way, I will say, I don't know if I'll be able to record next week because we are going to have family over. I don't know if I'm going to be able to have time to record on Wednesday and be prepping stuff on Wednesday for Thursday. So that might not happen. I would lean towards no. Don't expect a show next week, but we will be back in full swing the following week. But anyway, let's go ahead and let's get into the next story. Now, this really warmed my heart right here. This made me feel good. Real good. So I got this story from Music Tech. Now, of course, one of my favorite games to come out this year is up for an award. And I'm not even talking about the Game Awards. No. The game I'm talking about that y'all have heard me talk about it. I'm still at the last stage. I haven't finished it, but it is Star Wars Outlaws. I got over 30 plus hours in that game. They got a couple of new updates coming. What is it? I believe sometime this week they're coming. They're supposed to kind of pretty much not redo the game, but really tighten up so many things that should have, to be fair, it should have been done at launch, but I digress. But Star Wars Outlaws has been nominated for a 2025 Grammy Award for Best Score Soundtrack for a Video Game. So I want to shout out to composer Wilbert Roget, spelled R-O-G-E-T. The second for his amazing work and nomination, as well as Cody Matthew Johnson. Shout out to y'all for this nod. A Grammy nomination. It's fantastic. That is absolutely awesome, man. They representing out here with the video games, brothers and sisters. The soundtrack was just that good. Made you feel like you were actually in a Star Wars movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. By the way, I do believe that Star Wars Outlaws will be on sale for Black Friday. It probably won't drop in price enough for most people. It's going to be down to, I believe, about $50. So if it was a game you were interested in, this is the best time to catch it because all of the bugs are going to be fixed. Talking about the combat, the speeder that you get around on. I've played where it was before it actually got the patch and where it is now. Before, you used to fall off the scooter off of a pebble on the ground, a small, tiny rock, and boom, she's flying off the speeder. So they have definitely made a lot of improvements, made it so you can pretty much play the different missions or certain missions the way that you want to and not necessarily have to be in stealth. So I would definitely recommend picking that up. But if you can get it cheaper, I know $50 may be a little steep, like I said before, but if you can get it cheaper, then hopefully that'll happen. But even at 70, like I told y'all before, I didn't feel like I got at all duped or anything like that. It was worth the money for me, but we're all different. We're not all the same. But also, before I get into, the meat and potatoes of the show, I do want to shout out to you, Cody Clark. Shout out to you, brother, for your email, man. I greatly appreciate it. Unfortunately, I won't be able to go over it this week, Cody. I'll probably tackle it next week because we got quite a few things that we got to go through, and I want to try to keep the show going to try to get you guys out in an hour. That's always the goal. Do I meet that goal 9.5 times out of 10? I don't, but that is the goal, to get y'all out of here in an hour and give you guys, a lot of different things for us to go over together. But anyway, let's go ahead though, guys, and let's get into the next story that I actually got from Pure Xbox. So getting into the meat and potatoes of the show, I have to give Xbox their flowers on 2 games. One is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and the second one is South of Midnight. Golly. South of Midnight, brothers and sisters. Whoa! Oh, I think they got one with that one. Now, the thing is, though, before I get to South of Midnight, I will admit there were times when I saw Indiana Jones and I thought this looks kind of generic and boring, if I'm being honest. But after that latest gameplay trailer, man, I can at least say now, this is the best the game has looked, from a graphical perspective. And I mean, I still don't think it's going to be my kind of game, but I have to give a lot more respect. Got to put some respect on Machine Games' name for showing a lot of improvement on the game. Again, that him with the whip and knocking the gun out of the hand and things of that nature. I mean, it looks cool, but the thing that I worry about is that it's going to be more puzzles than there is going to be action. I saw him get the gun. He was shooting a little bit and I'm like, oh, that's nice. I like that. It wasn't the first time we saw the gun, but then it seemed like that's not going to be their real focus. It seems like it's going to be more of a puzzler, and that's not my type of game, but we'll see. Again, it looks great from a graphical standpoint. Well, it looks better. It looks a lot better than what I saw. So I am slightly interested in it a little bit. If it's not that many puzzles and it's a lot of action and adventure is going on, then I might be able to get down with it, but we'll see. But the other game, that I am totally sold on, and I mentioned it already, is South of Midnight. Now that game looks really impressive, and the documentary made me even more excited, especially with the research that's being done so we actually got a few details from the Uncle Gamer himself, or y'all might know him as Paris Lilly. Shout out to that brother. Man, shout out to Paris, man. That brother, I don't think he gets enough love. Man, that brother is out here representing. He's in these different meetings, meeting these different people, man. Shout out to Paris Lilly, man, for actually going up to Canada and being able to sit down with these guys over there at South of Midnight. So, I mean, of course, I'm looking at the documentary and all of that stuff. But again, with Paris Lilly, he said this on Twitter, talking about South of Midnight, to give us more clarification on certain things. He said, quote, South of Midnight is running on Unreal Engine 4 and is targeting 60 frames per second on Xbox Series X/S, end of quote. Now he continues and he says, quote, quick update on South of Midnight. One, you can turn off stop motion animation except in cut scenes. So that's great. I know some people might not like that. I call it the Rankin Bass animation, from back in the day with Rudolph and all of those joints that used to come on during the holidays. If you know, you know. But anyway, he said 2, official game length is 12 hours as it's difficult to gauge exploration time. Thanks to at Compulsion Games for providing additional clarification. Again, Paris Lilly, shout out to you, brother. I mean, I really respect that guy, man. I really respect him, man. Yeah, so having this information, knowing that the game is going to be roughly about 12 hours. And of course, that's not a full concrete answer. We understand that, like he said, exploration and things, you can't really put a time limit on that. You don't know, but the average is around 12 hours. I told y'all once, twice, 3, 4, 10 times. I am great with smaller experiences. I am a firm believer that I don't think every game has to be 24 to 36 hours. If you want those kind of numbers, you got RPGs to play for that. If I'm playing an action adventure game, I'm trying to get in and out. 12 to 15 hours is great enough for me. Now, granted, in Star Wars, I'm shockingly over 30 plus hours, but the game has a lot to do. So again, with South of Midnight, I'm sure that could possibly be the case, but nonetheless, you're going to be able to finish the game in roughly 12 hours. And for me as well, like I tell y'all, this is my favorite hobby on the planet. Gaming is the thing that I love the most when it comes to a hobby, but I'm not great at it. So a game that may take you guys 12, 13 hours to beat, it might take me 15 to 16, because of my skill set, my skill level. So, with that being said, I am perfectly fine with this game. The stop, start, animation that the game has. I am a huge fan of not necessarily the animation per se, but the way they put it into this game, the way they implement it into South of Midnight. I love it, man. And I love the thing that I love that Compulsion Games did as well was they didn't try to make this type of game on their own. They brought in the proper people that actually have background knowledge on these things, people that actually live in the South, people that can actually give background on certain things that happened in that period of time. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Paris did say on, and shout out to them too, the Iron Lords podcast. Shout out to those brothers too. I think, Paris said on there over the last, it was Sunday. I think he said that they are going to touch on a couple of things with the South. African Americans in the South have a very, very shady past, and even to this day in certain areas, it's still like that. You got some sundown towns where you better be up out of there before that sun goes down, man. But anyway, that's not what this is about. I digress. But I do love the fact that they have those people in place actually giving the information to make this game more authentic. So I am very, very excited about this game. I am in full. I will be buying this game. Now I know what that means, right? I know what I just said, right? That means that I'm going to have to get an Xbox if I want to play this. I get it. I'm hoping that this game doesn't go to PlayStation. I'm hoping that this will be one of the games that they will keep for themselves. This looks promising. Don't get rid of this like you did Hi-Fi Rush. Now, I don't know how good Hi-Fi was. I mean, it got 2 awards last year, so it couldn't have been that bad. Probably was a really, really great game. Eventually, I'll probably get it. I get an Xbox, and I'll probably get Hi-Fi Rush. I've still held off on it from getting it on PlayStation because it's still a piece of me that feels like I shouldn't be playing it on the PlayStation, even though Xbox says every screen is a dog on Xbox. These jokers right here. But anyway, I'm not going to go down that path. We all saw the commercial. This is a cat box or whatever, man. Look, listen, Microsoft, Xbox, you got one with this one. I'm really excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. I will leave it there. Before I actually jump off of it, I will say that there have been comparisons to this in Kena Bridge of Spirits. I can see where the two kind of meet with each other, because each time you clear out an area, that area comes back to life. Flowers, trees start growing and things of that nature. It was the same thing in Kena Bridge of Spirits, which was also a phenomenal game. So if this game can be anything like Kena Bridge of Spirits, woo! That's going to be a good one. But anyway, guys, let's go ahead for the sake of time and let's get into the next story that I actually got from Comic Book. So let's talk about some Square Enix rumors.
Rumor has it is something that only I know.
So it's being claimed that a full remaster of Kingdom Hearts 358/2 Days is happening that will remake the full game in its entirety. Now, the studio working on this alleged remaster is Japanese studio HAND, which, spells hand, which developed the original version. Now, it's also being reported that Square Enix will be announcing and releasing this game in 2025. We'll see if this is true or not. But again, like I tell you guys with rumors, always take it with a mustard seed of truth. I never really got into Kingdom Hearts. I got Kingdom Hearts 3 on the Xbox One, played the demo of it, and I loved it, bought it, and never played it. So, I mean, what's the main character's name? Solara, I don't even know his name, but it seemed like an interesting game. I do like the Disney characters that are involved, Goofy and Donald Duck or whatever. But for people that are interested in this, hopefully it does happen. But again, we will see. I'm not going to harp on it too long. Let's go ahead and let's get into the next story that I actually got from Comic Book, and we're going to kind of keep with the theme of of Square Enix. So we got some new information on Final Fantasy VII Part 3. Now, during an event in South Korea, the, what's his name? Yoshinori I know I'm saying his name wrong, but, Yoshinori, Katatsu, who revealed that the plot for the game is complete. So Final Fantasy VII Part 3, the plot is complete. And he says, with game concepts finalized, which is good, which are leading some to believe that the game is in the production stage. Now, in addition to this, both Mr. Naoki and Mr. Yoshinori teased that the team is trying to incorporate giving the player the option to fly around the world freely. Now I just want to put things in perspective. Now, this info does come from a translation. So sometimes with, translations, the meaning and context can sometimes become lost. But as far as release year, it's being estimated it'll release by 2028. And to be clear, no one from Square Enix said this. They didn't say it was going to be 2028, but they're estimating that that's when it's going to happen. And at that time, it's also being estimated, and I don't think it's a far-fetched idea, that that's when PlayStation 6 should be releasing. I would say we got another 4 years left, 2028. I would think maybe about 2027 we should be moving on. But, with the PlayStation 5 Pro, they'll probably extend it another year, possibly. But we'll see what happens with this. I do love the fact that you'll be able to fly around, or they're trying to make that a thing that can happen. It could definitely lead to some some additional things with the game, as far as, bringing more value to it, kind of giving you a different view on things, flying around the map. I think that could be pretty awesome. But again, I'm not going to harp on this one too much longer. We shall see what happens with this in the future. But let's go ahead, guys, and let's get into the next story that I actually got from True Achievements. So last week, it was being reported that a third-person action-adventure game that looks very similar to Splinter Cell, titled Project TH, was coming to Game Pass on day one. Before we move on, I want you guys to check this game out. It looks really, really good. Again, the name of it is Project TH. So let me continue. He says, Well, this week, the game's director cleared the air by saying Xbox Game Pass launch for Project TH is, quote, one of the options, end of quote, but the PlayStation is in discussions with, quote, several other platforms and publishers, end of quote. So for now, EVR Studios, which are the guys that are making this game, EVR Studios has not made a final decision as it stands. Now, Min Dong Jun, who is the game's director, also said this, and I quote, given the interest from players and ongoing discussions with platform and publisher representatives, I felt it was important to ensure accurate information is provided. End of quote. So it seems like, look, this brother probably said, ever since this rumor starts circulating about it going to Game Pass, people start looking the game up. All of a sudden we got a buzz going, a little bit of a buzz and maybe a little bit of heartbeat, thumping, towards the game where it's kind of coming alive. More people are getting interested. And, we're not committing to anybody just yet. We're a free agent right now, but we are in talks, to see what that contract is going to be like before we make our decision. These jokers is like a basketball player or a football player coming straight out of college. Cause I've never heard of this team. So obviously, well, it's not obviously, who the heck am I? But it seems like this may be their first run at, even if it's not their first run at a game, but it seems like it could possibly be their first run at a AAA game. So we'll see what happens with this in the future. But just to clear that up, Project TH is not officially coming to Game Pass on day one. They are still negotiating. Now, just on a side note, though, oh man, I gotta throw this in there. The game is being developed in Unreal Engine 5. I'm gonna just leave it right there. I'm gonna leave it there, doggone it. Anyway, man, I know y'all so tired of me with this Unreal Engine 5. I know y'all like, man, I was just joking. Never even found out about this doggone engine. But I mean, it looks beautiful though. Unreal Engine 5, did y'all see the new demo of the rain effects in Unreal Engine 5? Good grief. That thing is so pretty. Anyway, man, let's go ahead and let's move on into the next story. Now, I also got this story from Comic Book as well. Now, I mean, I know it got mixed reactions when it first released, but due to data miners, it looks like Dragon's Dogma 2 could be getting DLC. Now, in their digging, these guys that are data miners, in their digging, they found a mention of, quote, Tower of the New Moon, end of quote, alongside word of multiplayer in a boss rush mode. Now, it's always a possibility that this could have been cut content and Capcom has no intentions on releasing it. So, as always, until confirmed by Capcom or the people in the know in the company, take this with a mustard seed of truth. We shall see. Let's go ahead, though, guys, and let's get into, well, this isn't really a story, but if you are a Dynasty Warriors fan, And I actually found this on PlayStation Blog. But if you are a Dynasty Warriors fan and that Dynasty Warriors origin might have caught your eye at the Tokyo Game Show, there is definitely some good news for you, because on November 22nd, man, what's that? What, day after tomorrow? What's the day? The 20th? Yeah, 2 days from now, you'll actually be able to play a demo. A demo will be released again on November 22nd. For you to try it out. Now, the demo will feature the battle of, man, I'm gonna butcher the heck out of this, Sishuhigate. I think it's called, listen, man, they fighting at a gate, a Sishuhigate or something like that. God dog. Now, the thing is the same battle that was shown at Tokyo Game Show is gonna be, you'll be able to play it in this demo. And the good positive thing about this is there is no time limit on how long you can play this. And also, man, golly, on a side note, Dynasty Warriors is turned 27 years old. Dang. Never been a big fan of the franchise, but that's a long time to be around. Man, oh man, shout out to them. A lot of games don't even make it past the first title. But anyway, let's go ahead though, guys. Let's get into the next story that I actually got from Forbes. So, in a piece of news that I don't think anybody saw coming, according to Reuters, Sony, I feel like I pronounced that wrong, but we're going to roll with it. Sony is thinking about buying Kadokawa. Now, ultimately, by Sony buying them, they would own both From Software, which Kadokawa has a controlling stake. And even though Sony has a small chunk of From Software, along with Tencent, this move would put Sony more directly in charge. Now, also with this buyout of Kadokawa, it would also bring with it a huge amount of IP across anime and manga, which would go perfectly under Sony's Crunchyroll anime service. Now, again, I do want to stress the report says they're thinking about buying them, so it's not final. I know people have been around here saying, man, they own them. That's it. They own From Software. They're in the talks. But I did hear. Now, tell me this wasn't true. I don't know if it was, but were there certain people from the other side, Xbox, that is, trying to get in contact with, what's her name? I can't remember her name. But she was, the woman that was in charge of the deal, with Microsoft and, Activision. Was it Nia Kong? I can't remember. But, now all of a sudden they're saying that, look, Sony shouldn't be able to do this. You need to do something. You guys need to jump in there and stop this deal from happening. Are you nuts? Now, if it's not true, it is what it is. But if it is true, man, forget all of this. Oh, we don't want consolidation. We don't want any of these things happening. Sony's going to have too many different studios. Man, get the heck out of here. Doggone, Microsoft owns two of the biggest publishers to ever be in gaming. Activision, and I know it's not Bethesda, but what's the parent company's name? I'm not going to waste your time with it, but they own both of them. They own both. That comes with a multitude of different IPs. So I don't want to hear y'all tripping on, oh man, they can't let this happen. Please don't let this go down. If it happens, good. If not, it's okay. But the thing that I did want to point out though, with this possible acquisition, if it is successful, in the gaming space, Kadokawa owns, I just want to go into some of the things that they own. They own Spike Chunsoft, Acquire, which I believe Acquire, they actually work with Nintendo, I believe. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, did Acquire make that Mario and Luigi game earlier this year? It just came out, Brotherhood. I might be getting that mixed up. But anyway, they own Acquire, Gotcha Games, and From Networks. Now, while also owning a majority stake, like I said, in From Software alongside Tencent and Sony, we imagine that From Software is providing particularly attractive, it's looking pretty attractive for Sony, since the studio is responsible for the likes of, because they also own Elden Ring, Bloodborne, Dark Souls, and Armored Core. So, I mean, that's a lot that could come with this deal, which would be great. I know I kind of butchered that. I'm kind of all over the place. I'm actually reading some of this from Nintendo Life because I didn't write down certain things that I was just reading. But the other thing, let me see. So it says the latter spike, Chunsoft, is an arguably even bigger potential loss for Nintendo fans. It says the studio is well known for the likes of, what's this called? Danganronpa. Y'all know what it is. The Ropna Master Detective Archives. It says, but it's also the developer behind the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon franchise, having worked on it under the name Chunsoft before rebranding to Spike. Chunsoft in 2012, following a merger with Spike, the last century Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX launched on the Switch in 2020. So, I mean, basically, I'm not going to go through the whole article, but they're saying that with Sony possibly buying up, again, the name of the parent company, the name of it is Katakawa. I feel like I ain't pronouncing that right either. But Katakawa, if they buy them up, then that could definitely impact some of the things that are going on over at Nintendo. Some of the development that's happening right now, some of the development that has happened in the past. They feel like if Sony does pick them up, they're going to take them away from Nintendo. They're going to make it so they can't work with Nintendo. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it seems like the walls are kind of coming down on all platforms, to be fair, except for Nintendo. They're holding on pretty strong. But with Sony actually releasing Horizon onto the Nintendo Switch, I mean, Lego Horizon, let me be clear. Lego Horizon on the Switch, they may look at it as, it's just business at the end of the day. We can let bygones be bygones. I hope not. I hope they take it all. I hope they snatch every single studio that's over there working with Nintendo and say, go get your own. Oh, no, my brother, you got to get your own studios to work on your games. I would love it for Sony to be that petty. I don't want these guys being friends. I want these guys at each other's throats every step of the way. And the reason why is because of competition and because I'm a consumer. I want the best product out there. I want the very best product. Whenever people are getting along and they're having a good time, it seems like it takes the edge away. If you look at the NFL, people say to this day, and man, oh man, my heart is hurting. I was sore. I mean, I was toe up after the game. But if you look at the NFL, it's a reason why the Ravens and the Steelers are arch rivals and people love watching their games. It's because they don't like each other and they want to hurt each other. They want to win. They want to win by any means necessary. Now, to be fair, it's been a real one-sided situation over the last couple of seasons. I mean, we are 1-9. 1-9 against the Steelers. So, I mean, God, dog, and that's the thing. We're not getting mollywopped. It's within a score, a one-score game. But that's why people love it, because they know that when we show up, well, I'm not going to say we. I mean, it is my team, but I'm not on the field, so I can't include myself in that. But I'll say when the two teams show up, people know it's going to be hard-nosed football, and it's going to be a great game, top to bottom. And that's the same thing I want in the console space. I want these guys fighting for position at every single moment, because steel sharpens steel. Microsoft right now, these jokers sitting on the sideline wanting to be everybody's friend and whatnot. I don't like it, but I digress. Again, we'll see what happens with this. Maybe Sony picks them up. It's a situation where it's still in the talks, still in the works. And again, I hope they take them all. I hope every single studio this over there underneath that deal, underneath that umbrella. I hope Sony says y'all are exclusively working for us. No more outsourcing, but we shall see what happens with this. This isn't something that I'm super excited about. I could care less about Elden Ring and Demon Souls, Dark Souls. Those games do not in any shape, form. No, I'm not a fan. I tell y'all all the time, I play games for fun, not frustration. So yeah, I could care less if the deal does happen. I do like the fact that they are still trying to acquire still trying to acquire more teams and more developers, things of that nature, because Phil Spencer, he did say that they still are going to be looking to acquire more developers. Now, I don't know if they can go as hard as getting a Take-Two or a Ubisoft or an EA. I'm like, relax. These jokers already can't handle what they have. So why do you want to continuously see these guys out here getting all of these publishers? It's bad for business. I mean, you look at how many people lost their jobs when it came to Activision being acquired by Microsoft. It was a darn catastrophe. So I would hope that they're just going after some smaller teams, nothing too serious, zero publishers, because it ain't helping your cause. People losing their jobs and some more stuff, and y'all can't even manage what you got. But we'll see what happens with this. I'm glad to see Sony is still out there trying to fight and trying to make it happen. But we will see in the future how this lands. Now, I want to get into the next story that I actually got from The Verge. Yeah, this story right here was interesting. We got some new info from Remedy when it comes to Alan Wake 2 and Control 2. Now, this came out of an investor's presentation. So Alan Wake 2 so far has sold, God, dog, man. This joker has sold 1.8 million copies, and it's a multi-plat. I don't understand. I don't understand. What is going on? This game did it. I forgot what it did. It did it win Game of the Year last year. I'm sitting here and I'm being very genuine. Let me be real serious just for a minute. I'm sitting here and I'm looking at these numbers. Astrobot selling 1 million. Alan Wake 2 selling 1.8 million, and it's a multi-plat. I am so baffled and befuddled. I'm confusion when it comes to these numbers. When you hear numbers like this, you can't help but to say, daggone, maybe they really do have to go to other platforms. These games cost tens and 20s of millions of dollars to develop. And with an install base of 60 plus million on one, PC having a billion players on there, and even Xbox Series X and S having at least 20, 25, maybe close to 30 million on their platform. Just between Xbox and PlayStation, that's give or take like almost, not quite, but let's say around like 90, a little over 90 million, possibly close to around 90 million people that own these consoles, and out of 90 million, you sell 1.8. That is just insane. I've been asking this question time and time again. Why do games sell so low? I mean, so terribly. But then you get a game like Black Myth Wukong, which we're going to talk about that. That game sells like 10 plus million. And it's like, man, it just, the ebbs and flows of this thing is so crazy to me. It really just, I like to say that I don't agree. I really don't agree with, them bringing their games. I think everybody needs exclusives, so I'm never going to waver from that. Make it work. But from the business side, hearing these kind of numbers, from a business perspective and only wanting gaming to continue to breathe and live for the sake of it, I hate it. But I can understand where these guys might say, look, man, we need money. These things aren't selling. I mean, this game isn't selling. We need to do better. We got to expand. We got to expand the audience. And I believe that is why Nintendo will probably be the absolute dead last, if possibly never, putting their games on other platforms, because their games sell crazy numbers. Absolutely insane. When it comes, I don't know how they do it. It is a mystery. I don't know. Anyway, let me continue on. It just blows my mind. Those numbers are just so low for so many games. But I digress. Let me move on to some interesting news that came out from for Control 2. So it was revealed that Control 2 will be an action RPG. Yes, action RPG.
What did he say?
I said, what the heck is this? Action RPG. Huh? Now, this means that the sequel will be abandoning the action adventure genre that the original game was set in. Now, to be fair, I don't know how this is going to work out. This sounds like a complete 180 from where they were at with the first Control, which was action adventure all the way. So I am very confused. I don't know what to think about this. Action RPG Control 2. I'm looking forward to seeing how that works out. But the other thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is still continuing on with those guys over at Remedy, because we also got a Max Payne update, which this is positive news. I'm gonna pull up the article real quick. By the way, I got this article from Rockstar Intel. So I'm going to try to find what they said. Okay. Yeah, let's go into the latest on Max Payne 1 and 2 remake. Okay. So it says during the company's Capital Markets Day for 2024 on Tuesday, they shared updates on all their games, including the Max Payne Remedy CEO. No, I'm sorry, including the Max Payne. Including their games, including the Max Payne. Now it says Remedy CEO Tero, man, I butchered that. But CEO Tero Vitala led a presentation going over the current state of Remedy and its future. Now Vitala brought up a slide in the presentation looking at the difference between their own franchises and partner ones such as Max Payne. He said that Max Payne is a perfect fit for Remedy because they made it, but also the developers love the series. Says, quote, a work for hire project on such major gaming IP, end of quote, like Max Payne will have royalty upsides and, quote, with an esteemed partner like Rockstar Games, end of quote, is a good balancing factor in their portfolio. So yeah, they're saying the money is coming, especially being associated with Rockstar. Oh yeah, we are definitely going to get some royalties. There's going to be an upside to this. We're going to be able to eat off of this game for the long run, well, for the long haul. Now, the CEO continues by saying that the remakes, quote, can both utilize inbuilt synergies in the same way that any other Remedy game does, end of quote. I'm trying to get to the actual meat and potatoes of it. Basically, I'm not going to keep reading. Basically, they were saying that it looks like the Max Payne remake is actually meeting Rockstar Games' expectations, quoting excellent, end of quote, for, how the game is coming along. So if it's meeting the expectations of Rockstar, and we know the amount of detail that those guys put into their games, and with Remedy actually reaching what they consider to be, quote, excellent, that speaks volumes about what we can expect from these remakes of Max Payne 1 and 2. Now, I have to say, I am curious to know, because they haven't addressed this yet, and I understand it's probably too early to do that, but I'm still trying to figure out, are they actually going to be including both in the same package, or are they going to be selling them separately, one at a time? Because I can't imagine, similar to how some people were saying Gears of War was going to get the, the original trilogy or the remakes, and they were going to bundle them all together. I can't imagine that they would be able to afford to do that. You're going to offer, two $70 games for the price of one. So a game that, games that would cost $140 at $70 a piece, you're going to sell for $70. I just don't think that's going to happen. So I'm very interested to see how they actually break that down. Is it going to be a situation where it's almost going to be like Final Fantasy 7, where they're going to release the first one, at this time, and then, they'll release the second one at a later date? Because that seems like they would be losing a lot of money. A 2-for-1, and it's a complete remake, not a remaster. I don't know about that. That's going to be very, very interesting, but we shall see. I want to get into the next story that I actually got. I got this story from VGC. Now, it's a smaller story, but it's about Stellar Blade. So Stellar Blade, I should say developer Shift Up, previously said the game's 1.009 patch would launch on November 20th, but it has been rolled out a day early. So this actually came out yesterday. So the game's photo mode lets players pose, protagonist Eve change her outfit, and add new visual effects to screenshots. So now, if you guys were interested, it is finally out, the photo mode for Stellar Blade, which is fantastic. Now, outside of the photo mode being there's an update that also adds 4 new outfits and a new accessory for Eve, plus the ability to remove her ponytail, which is a possibility now. That's pretty cool. Now, lip sync support for 6 additional languages has also been added, and that includes French, Spanish, Italian, German, Portuguese, and Latin American Spanish. So yeah, this is good. This is really good. Let me see. Stellar Blade, they actually put out on Twitter. It says new update. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Oh, crap. This is a lot to go over. It says new update on November 19th details. Photo mode feature has been added. Photo challenge requests have been added. You can acquire new outfits from the new 1.009 patch. 4 new outfits for Eve, 4 seconds black denim, 4 seconds everyday wear, Neuralink skin, war dress. So those are the 4 outfits you can get. A new accessory for Eve, symbol of legacy. Symbol of legacy, quote, which can be acquired from a certain ending, changes the appearance of the Taki mode. Lip sync support for 6 additional voice languages. I already read those. It says you can now select the BGM you want from the camp's turntable, which is dope. Man, I don't know if y'all old school gamers, y'all remember back on the Sega Genesis, one of my favorite soundtracks, Outrun, was so dope. The ending music, when you actually finished and it comes in, doom, 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 doom. I mean, I ain't gonna make a fool of myself, doggone. But, yeah, the ending music was so dope. I would just listen to that over and over and hear the waves in the background. Oh, that joint was fantastic. And then the other game I used to love was, Shadow Dancer. Shadow Dancer had one of the dopest soundtracks on the Sega Genesis. And I used to go again into that BGM mode and just listen to those tracks over and over again. So I love the fact that that's kind of like a callback, to a time that, we don't really see too much now, where you'll be able to do that inside of Stellar Blade at the camps. That's pretty dope. Again, I had read the no ponytail has been added to the ponytail length option. Oh, so you can make a ponytail different lengths? That's interesting. It says projectile, auto aim correction, and bullet magnet functions have been applied to the instant death skill and various other bug fixes. So they've done a lot with this. They've done a great amount. Shout out to them for continuously working on the game to make it better, bringing extra value to the game as well. I would say that they have had a very, very great first time out the gate. Of course, things can always be better, but them also having the Nier Automata DLC that has come out as well. Let me see, which is due to go live. So that actually happened today, actually. It says the update also adds support for paid Nier Automata DLC. So yeah, Shift Up is very, very busy. And I love to see it. So yeah, shout out to them for all of the work that they continue to do, man. The other thing that I wanted to bring up as well, I actually got this story from The Gamer. And, pardon me, guys, for just probably sounds like I'm not really on track. And it's true because I'm not. Usually I would have wrote this stuff down, but there was so many things to cover this week. I actually just am reading it straight from the website. So usually when I write it down, I can kind of put it in a way that I can just get right to the point. So that's why I'm kind of shuffling around a little bit and not being able to get there to the point right away. So pardon me for that. But this next story is actually talking about Fable's combat and the inspiration that what game it's getting its inspiration from. So if I'm not oh, my bad. I thought I heard something. God dog. It was saying, hold on, let me see. Okay, Fable takes a lot. Now this was dope. It's saying that Fable takes a lot from the Witcher series. So here it is. It says, it seems that Fable will take a lot of inspiration from the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. While we've heard inklings of this before, it was reiterated by Jez Corden on the Xbox 2 podcast. Oh yeah, shout out to him and Rand. I actually like those guys. But Corden claims to have seen alpha footage of the game and was blown away by how fantastic it looked at such an early stage. He says, quote, you can tell that this game has CD Projekt Red DNA, end of quote, said, of course, Jez Corden on the podcast. He continued, he said, quote, so the developers Playground Games, they picked up a bunch of developers like CD Projekt Red, and I believe they picked up the combat designer, and you can kind of tell, you know. I'm not saying it's 100% one-to-one with Witcher, because it's not, but you can kind of tell that melee combat, the sort of precarious, what is that? Hold on. What is that? Piritis. Oh man, I'm gonna have to skip that. Let me see. Pirouettes. God dog, come on, Kiaun, get it together. Pirouettes and the dodging and the dodge rolling and the seamless hack and slack into an execution, which looks really, really cool. All that stuff is there. It looks super polished. It looks super good. And if this was early gameplay, then it probably even looks better now than from what I was shown. Let me see. He went on to say that the combat involved a lot of mixing of weapon types, seamlessly using swords, bows, and spells. There was reportedly also a spell which allowed players to lift up enemies. To lift up enemies and slam them to the ground like the Force powers in Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Oh, I like that. Oh, that is so nice. And if it has the physics, oh man, where it's like the ragdoll physics, oh my gosh, that could be amazing.
Get the fun-to-drive Honda of your dreams during Happy Honda Days.
Oh, this is just unprofessional. Pardon me, doggone it. Commercial came up on the website. See, this is why I try to write it down. But pardon me, unprofessional production strikes again, talking about selling cars at Christmas time. Let me finish this up, man. It says, as for the enemies themselves, Corden said that he saw one that looked like a giant chicken and also a werewolf. The combat reportedly looked very tight and featured a number of weapons, including a giant mallet, the animation quality. Well, let me stop there. A giant mallet. That's cool. Now he says the animation quality and acting also looked really good for an alpha build of the game. However, he did state that he has no idea when the gameplay footage was from, nor who the original source is. So with all of that being said, it seems like if we're going off of what Jez Corden is saying, this game has some DNA from The Witcher 3, which is incredible. The combat, being able to have some force powers where you can do some Darth Vader type stuff, you know, being able to fling the enemies around and things of that nature, having a big mallet. This game seems like it could be something really, really great. And I tell you, when I saw this game at the show, I thought it was fantastic looking. I love the way it looked at the showcase, the Xbox showcase. It was definitely a highlight up there with South of Midnight. Again, that show was phenomenal. Phenomenal. I thought, again, it was the greatest show I'd ever seen from Microsoft. And it really made me want to get an Xbox. I still want an Xbox. I do want one. But just, it would have been so much easier if they just wouldn't have said anything about these games coming to PlayStation and it not being a red line. That could have made it so much, it could have made me want it so much more. But these games, man, I got to tell you, I'm kind of sold on them right now. I was sold on them at the showcase. Ain't nothing changed. They just, Microsoft makes me mad sometimes with the decisions that they make. But I digress. So this seems like this is going to be great. Fable, again, is rumored to be out next year sometime. We'll see what happens with that. But just the fact that they had picked up some guys over there at CD Projekt Red, or they, were able to get some of the talent from there. God, dog, I'm excited, man. I'm very excited. Really, really looking forward to seeing what happens with Fable when it releases. Let me see what other thing that I want to go over. Just on a quick note, I actually got this story from Game Rant. For anybody that owns a PlayStation VR 2, it's some pretty good news that could be coming down the pipe. So Resident Evil 7 may come to PSVR 2 soon, promising improved visuals and terrifying experiences. The article also says PSVR 2 offers higher resolution, wider field of view, and IDP adjustments for an immersive horror experience. Resident Evil 7's physical release for PS5 hits at VR upgrade for PSVR 2, a first for modern VR headsets. So because the game is coming out physically, that's why people, or this rumor is starting to spread, is that because it's coming out physically for the PlayStation 5, that it will also be playable with the PSVR 2. A better, higher fidelity, higher resolution, probably a higher it's just going to be better. It's just going to be better. I don't have the PSVR 2, so I don't know all of the inner workings of it or things of that nature. But I will say, shout out the glove box. Shout out to that good brother. I talked to him. He has a PlayStation 5 Pro, and he said he actually played his PlayStation 5 Pro with the PSVR 2 hooked up to it, and he said it does improve it. It makes it look better. It runs a little smoother. It has a bit of he didn't act like it was like a huge difference, but he said it was a noticeable difference. So that is positive news, that especially with Resident Evil 7 coming out physically on the PlayStation 5, being able to have that possibility of it working and possibly being enhanced. Now, again, they did not say in the article from Game Rant that they were going to be enhancing Resident Evil 7 for the PlayStation 5 Pro. They did not say that, but I'm saying that with it coming out, it could always be a possibility that situation could happen, making it even better experience when it comes to the PSVR 2. I also do want to say that Glovebox also said, as good as the PlayStation 5 Pro is, he did say he can't necessarily recommend that you go out and get it. He said, because in order to get the most out of I keep wanting to say the PSVR 2, but in order for you to get the most out of the PlayStation 5 Pro, you need to have the right TV. You have to have the right setup. Otherwise you're not going to really see a difference, and it might not be worth the $700. So he said, definitely tread with caution. He said the PlayStation 5, if you have one, you're going to be fine. You're going to be great. He never suggested to go out there and get the Pro over the PlayStation 5. He said, you're fine where you are. And again, if you don't have the TV in the proper setup, it's going to be kind of a waste of money. So I just wanted to say, shout out the Glovebox for that feedback. But yeah, we'll see what happens with this, guys. And we're already well over an hour. I told y'all I was trying to get y'all out of here. Let me see. There's some Black Friday deals going on, which seem pretty good. I'm going to kind of speed through some of these other ones. Arkham Asylum is rumored to be getting a remake. We'll see what happens with that. The Batman Arkham series was pretty amazing. It pretty much gave us all hope in superhero video games for real. It was a real struggle up until that point with Rocksteady, until Rocksteady came out with Batman, the, Arkham franchise. So again, it seems like it could possibly be being remade, Arkham Asylum, and that could lead to the other two also being remade. I mean, we'll see. It's just a rumor, so just keep that in mind. The other thing is PlayStation. Now, this was dope. PlayStation Portal is going to be able to, if I'm not mistaken, you're going to be able to play it through the cloud. Let me see. I got this story from PlayStation Blog. It says, quote, now this is from PlayStation Blog. Today, we're pleased to announce a new system software update for PS Portal that will begin releasing starting later today. Europe release begins Wednesday, which, well, is today. It says, which will introduce refinements in the audio experience, including, let me see, speaker. Hold on. That's not it. It said, okay. Yeah, okay, it says this update will also include a beta version of a new feature that many fans have been asking for, support for cloud streaming on PS Portal. It says when the update is live, PlayStation Plus Premium members will be able to participate in a beta for cloud streaming on PS Portal, allowing select PS5 games in the PlayStation Plus game catalog to be streamed directly from our servers, even without a PS5 console. Wow, that's pretty doggone amazing. Let me see. It says, okay, this is something that you can, it says, let's take a deeper look at what you can expect in this beta. It says features available during the beta. Stream select PS5 games in PlayStation Plus game catalog. Over 120 PS5 games from the PS Plus game catalog, including Dave the Diver, Ghosts of Tsushima, Marvel Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Monster Hunter Rise, and Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart will be accessible on PS Portal via cloud streaming. Streaming up to 1080p, 60 frames per second. Man, that's pretty impressive. DualSense wireless controller including haptic feedback, adaptive triggers, speakers, touchpad, emulated on the touch screen for PS Portal, and motion sensor. PlayStation Cloud Storage says save data and game progress can be stored up to 100 gigs and will be automatically synced with your PS5 console, making it easy to switch seamlessly between local and streaming gameplay and between multiple devices. It says cloud streaming beta for PS Portal will be available through the PlayStation Plus Premium plan, which is offered in the following locations. Okay, it's just going to go through all of that. So this is really, it sounds impressive. Now, how well it works, that's a whole different story. But I do love the fact that they are taking this PS Portal and really giving it a lot of value, being able to stream these games, even if it's not on your PlayStation 5. That is incredible. And the games that you'll be streaming or able to stream right now are really good games. I heard Dave the Diver is pretty good. I don't think that would be my kind of game, but Ghosts of Tsushima is there, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. And it's going to be running at 1080p, 60 frames per second. That is going to be interesting. We'll see what happens with this. This seems like this is the future that unfortunately it doesn't seem like we're going to be able to get away from. Microsoft is doing it with phones. They're doing it with tablets. Anything else that you can have a wireless connection on via the internet, And it looks like Sony, they are following suit with the PS Portal. So it'll be interesting, man. I mean, again, being fair about it, yes, it is very interesting, but nah, I got to keep the same energy. It's not something I'm very interested in, but the fact that it's there, I mean, maybe one day I could grow to like it, but right now, nah, not at all. But for people that do have the the PlayStation Portal, this is pretty good, only because we know how it started. You needed the PlayStation 5 in order for you to be able to stream your games. But now them cutting that off and being able to do it independently on the PS Portal, that is kind of impressive from that standpoint. But anyway, I'm not for any of it. But we'll see what happens with this. But anyway, guys, that is the end of the gaming news this week, which is going to lead us into the final section of the podcast. It will not be in a video game theater this week because we got to get into these Game Awards. And of course, the question that I had for you guys is, do you agree with the nominees for Game of the Year? So let's get into that as a whole. Let me bring this up. All right, this also came from PlayStation Lifestyle. So it's a lot of categories here. Okay, so starting off with the big one, Game of the Year, you got Astrobot. I'm very happy about that. Balantro, Black Myth Wukong, a little bit of a question mark there. Elden Ring, Shadow of the Earth Tree. That's DLC. That was questionable as well. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Renfantazio. Refantazio. Whatever it's called. It's doggone metaphor. So the question is, with that, do you guys agree with the nominees for the Game of the Year? I mean, Black Myth Wukong, I understand it had a big impact, but I believe it's a report out there. I know it's a report out there that says that Black Myth Wukong is the lowest rated game that they have ever seen to be up for Game of the Year. So, I mean, you could make an argument that maybe Warhammer 40,000 should have been in there, or Star Wars Outlaws. I would say Star Wars Outlaws because I thought the game was great. Oh God, dog. I got an opinion. Shoot, I would have thought that Star Wars should have been in there. I mean, darn, you got Elden Ring DLC up in there for Game of the Year. I mean, now to be fair, we were talking about it earlier. CD Projekt Red, The Witcher, what was it, Blood and Wine, and the other DLC that came out. I believe they were nominated at one point in time, and I think they won, actually. So this DLC conversation is not new for it to be up for Game of the Year, but I just think it should be a different category for that. I don't think they should be one and the same. If it's DLC, have best DLC of the year or something like that, a category like that, but not Game of the Year. But that is the question that I have for you guys this week. Do you agree with the nominees for Game of the Year? I have to say, look, Astrobot is there. I'm not. Listen, brother, that Black Myth, I don't know about that. I really don't. The Elden Ring joint, I don't know about that either, man. I'm a little iffy on that. You know, I heard that the metaphor, that thing ain't doing nothing cutting edge or anything like that. It could probably be replaced with something else. So I'm a little iffy on this list. I am glad that Astrobot made it. I am glad that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth made it. I mean, shucks. Like I said, I would have liked to have seen Star Wars in there, but I'm not gonna harp on that because we got to go through these other categories. So you got best game direction. You got Astrobot, Balantro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring Shadow, Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII. Golly, Metaphor, Refantazio, whatever it's called. That's a straight rip for best game of the year. That's kind of whack. Best narrative, you got Final Fantasy VII, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. Oh, that's cool. Metaphor again. Senua's Saga, H-Blade 2 is up for an award. Oh, shucks. Oh, man, Microsoft got one. Oh, shucks, they got one. Best narrative. I be doggone. Best art direction, Astrobot, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, Metaphor, and Never. I don't even know what Never is. Best score in music, Astrobot, Final Fantasy VII, Metaphor, Silent Hill 2, Stellar Blade even made it. Nice. Best audio design, Astrobot is in a ton of categories. God dog. I mean, rightfully so though. Shout out the team of Sobi. You did something amazing. Now, I didn't play Astrobot, this one, but I played the original one that came with the PlayStation 5. And I can imagine if you took that concept and made it bigger, this game is phenomenal. I am hoping to get Astrobot very, very soon. To experience it, but I digress. So that's the best score in music. You got best audio design, Astrobot, Call of Duty, Black Ops 6, doggone Microsoft got another one. You got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Oh, Senua's Saga is also in this category. And you got Silent Hill 2. Best performance, Brianna White for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Hannah Tell for Life is Strange, Double Exposure, Humberly Gonzalez for Star Wars Outlaws. I love it. Luke Roberts for Silent Hill 2. Man, I'm so happy that Star Wars is in here. Melina Jurgens for Senua's Saga 2. Wow. Man, Senua's Saga is up here quite a bit. You got innovation and accessibility is Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Diablo 4, Dragon Age The Veil Guard, Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, shout out to them, and Star Wars Outlaws. Nice. You got games for impact. I never care about this category. I'm be honest with you, but you got Closer the Distance, Indinka, Never, Life is Strange, Double Exposure, Senua's Saga, yet again, Tales of I know about this game. Tales of Kenzera Zhao. That game actually looked pretty good. That's actually a pretty good list. Even though I only know like 3 out of the 6 games on this list, but that's cool. Best ongoing game though, you got Destiny 2. Sony is in there. Diablo 4, Final Fantasy, what's that? 14, 16? I don't know. Final Fantasy 14. I can't read Roman numerals up to a certain point. But you got Fortnite and H-Divers 2. Nice, man. Sony is in there for 2 different games. Destiny 2. Well, H-Divers isn't technically their game. Their developers didn't develop it, but y'all know what I'm saying. Best community support. You got Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy. Like I said, I don't know if that's 14 or what, but you got Fortnite, H-Divers 2, No Man's Sky. Best independent game, Animal Well, Balantro, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. You got Never and UFO 50. Don't know about any of those. Best debut indie game is Animal Well, Balantro. Man, this Balantro must be doggone amazing. You got Manor Lords, Pacific Drive. I am familiar with that. And The Plucky Squire. Best mobile game, AFK Journey, Balantro. God, dog. Pokemon trading game. Well, trading card game, Pocket, Wuthering Waves, Zenless Zone Zero. You got Best VR AR is Arizona Sunshine Remake. I've heard of that. Asgard Wrath 2, Batman Arkham Shadow. Oh, that one might win. Metal, H Singer VR and Metro Awakening. Whoa. Now, I got to shout out Glovebox again. I was on his channel, subscribed to his YouTube channel. That brother made me want to get a PSVR 2. When I saw that Metro Awakening in the PlayStation VR, I said, God, dog, this game is immersive. That game looks great, but we'll see. I think it's going to come down to Batman Arkham Shadow and Metro Awakening. I think one of those is probably going to win. But best action game, you got Black Myth Wukong, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, H-Divers 2, wow. Stellar Blade, nice. Warhammer did make the list. Shout out to them. Yeah. But for the sake of time, I got to cut that short. Shout out to y'all though. Marine 2. You got, so all of those, that's a good category. Best action game. I think it's going to come down to Stellar Blade, Warhammer. That's going to be a tough race, man. Warhammer, Stellar Blade, Black Myth, and Call of Duty 6. They might give it to Stellar Blade, but I would not mind seeing Warhammer win. Let me see. Best action adventure. You got Astrobot. Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. How crazy is that? That studio got dismantled and they're up for several doggone awards. Craziness. Silent Hill 2, Star Wars Outlaws. I'm voting for that. That's what I want to see win Best Action Adventure. And The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Best RPG, you got Dragon's Dogma 2, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and Metaphor. Best Fighting Game, you got Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, Arcade Classics. That's pretty cool. Man, I don't know about that. That's kind of cheap. Those games have been out for years. But you got Multiverses and Tekken 8. I would like to see Tekken 8 win because that Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, that's a cheat. Those games been out already. You got Best Family game, Astrobot, Princess Peach Showtime, Super Mario Party Jamboree, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and The Plucky Squire. I want Astrobot to beat all of Nintendo's games. Astrobot for Best Family Game. You got Best Sim Strategy. You got Age of Mythology Retold, Frostpunk 2, Kunitsu Gami Path of the Goddess. Oh, that was that Capcom game. I did not like that. Manor Lords, Unicorn Overlord. For Best Sports Racing, you got F124, EA Sports FC 25, NBA 2K25, Top Spin 2K25, WWE 2K25. It doesn't matter to me which one wins in that category. You got Best Multiplayer, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, H-Divers 2, Super Mario Party Jamboree, Tekken 8, Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2. Yeah, I want Warhammer to win. That'd be dope to see them take down the Goliath that is Call of Duty. Let's see. Best adaptation. You got Arcane, Fallout, Knuckles, Like a Dragon, Yakuza, Tomb Raider, The Legend of Lara Croft. I don't know about that one. It doesn't really matter to me. Most anticipated game, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Ghosts of Yotai, Grand Theft Auto 6, Metro Prime 4 Beyond, Monster Hunter Wilds. I think it'll be a hands down Grand Theft Auto 6 for this one. Content Creator of the Year. I'm not going to be able to pronounce their names, but shout out to y'all. You got Best Esports. I hate that. Side note, what does Content Creator of the Year have to do with gaming? I understand you cover games on your channel and that kind of stuff, but bump that, man. I could care less. Best esports game, you got Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, League of Legends, Mobile Legends, Bang Bang, and Valorant. Best esports athlete, man, I ain't doing that. Skip. You got best esports team, nope, skip. I ain't doing it. The Game Awards, let me see, 2024 goes live on December 12th, 2024 at the theater in Los Angeles, California. Shout out to Michael Ruiz for all of the breakdowns of the nominations. So, with that being said, who do you guys have? Who do you have winning Game of the Year? Who do you have winning in all of those categories? As long as Astrobot wins something, as long as Star Wars Outlaws wins something, and as long as I definitely want Senua's Saga to win something, because I'm still a fan of Ninja Theory. I still believe in them. I think they're a great studio. I think they will continue to make amazing games. I know that Senua might not have hit on all of the notes that people wanted it to. I haven't played it, so I can't speak personally on it, but I really like them, so I'm hoping they do get something, and I would love to see Warhammer get something as well. So, as long as those guys win, I'll be happy, that they get something. Even Stellar Blade. I would like to see Stellar Blade get something because they're a brand new team as well. First getting out there, getting exposed to, the game in public. But anyway, guys, with that being said, man, that is going to do it for this week. I just want to thank you guys again for being here. We are at 1 hour and 30 minutes. Yet again, that was not the plan, but I truly want to thank you guys, if you are here right now, for staying with me and being here. So thank you guys again. So with that being said, guys, like I said, next week there will not be a podcast. It won't be a show. So we'll be on, I guess, a week hiatus and be back the following Wednesday. So you guys, hopefully everybody has a great Thanksgiving. That do celebrate, because there are some that don't. But for those that do celebrate, I hope you guys are able to be with your families, have a great time, be able to see some family members that you might not have seen in a long time, and be able to get that quality family time in. So like I say every week, until, the next episode, or until the following week when we do it again, before we officially get out of here, always remember one thing. It is not about the consoles. It is about the games. So let's go ahead and put this bow on this and wrap it up. And until the following Wednesday, what day is that going to fall on? So I can give y'all a day. I mean, I know y'all can look it up, but I want to try to be professional here. So let me see. So we will be back on the 20. No, it won't be the 28th. It'll be on the 4th. We'll be back on the 4th of December. But until then, you guys take care. Or I should say, until then, when we do it again, you guys take care. Be safe out there. Bye-bye.